Welcome back to the F1 2017 career mode, and you join me for the Hungarian Grand Prix of Season 3. A track we've never actually been too good at, which is quite ironic considering our car. Like, yes, it's a wee bit down on power, or used to be a wee bit down on power, and the aero and the chassis was sort of mid of the pack, but just been very slow around Hungary. I think it's just one of those tracks where the AI are naturally very good at it. There are certain tracks that the AI are just very good at, certain tracks the AI are poor at, and certain tracks where it's actually fairly competitive. And I think this is one of the ones where unfortunately I'm just not great against the AI. So anyway, we come to qualifying, and it was actually intermediate conditions. You saw there in the cinematic shot. In practice it was drizzling a little bit, but still fine for dry tyres. This is qualifying, and this is my third lap. I went out for 3 laps on the intermediate tyre just to get myself some running in, get used to the circuit. This is the best time that I'm going to set. So we've gone through turn 1, up towards turn 2. We're just over a tenth up on our best time. You see our delta ever changing, but through the corners you're going to see it really pick up. And I just couldn't dial in a good setup for this weekend. The car was just not behaving well mid corner for me. But we do set the fastest first sector of the qualifying session, and you just see the car felt very clumsy at low speed, especially in the wet for Hungary. It's very rare that you have to actually race the Hungarian Grand Prix in wet conditions. So yeah, the car not feeling great in qualifying, and obviously we'll see how that translates to the race later on. But we're over 3 tenths up now on our times. We're coming through the middle sector, building up a bit of speed, over 130 miles an hour as we flick it right just before the second sector split. We're nearly half second up now as we come across, and we're on for a pretty good lap compared to the rest of the AI actually. So we come through one of the final corners. That's where we lost a lot of time on one of our last laps. Our delta's nearly a second up as we come through the 180 degree left hander. Now we're over a second up now as we look to come through the final corner. It's just about having confidence as to when you can press the pedal down. There it is, go out wide. We're over 1.2 seconds up. We crossed the line, a 32.2. That is a purple lap time for the session, and that is the fastest lap so far, and by the end of the session was still the fastest lap. So we have got pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who was 0.02 of a second faster than Fernando Alonso there. Then Raikkonen, Bottas, Hamilton, Verstappen, Ricardo, Perez, Hulkenberg rounds out our top 10. Hulkenberg was 10th, 2.3 off the pace, and you get the Salvas right at the back, looking very slow indeed. Yeah, the strategy for this one, because it was raining during practice, we're going to start on a fairly fresh set of tyres, and we're going to go with the one stop. We saw earlier on in the season that the going for any kind of different strategy wasn't actually very beneficial for us. The one stop is the best one for us, especially on a track where we don't always have the pace, and we're going to be fighting for our track position. So we build to the lights. 5 are on. 5 lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Vettel was dropped down because of a grid penalty. That meant it was an all McLaren front row. Alonso has pulled ahead going into turn 1. I'm not going to fight that too hard. He is going to be faster than me, and I've let him through. I've allowed him to have the better start, and now theoretically my plan is for me to be the cork in the bottle. Hold up the pack so Alonso can run away and win this race for the McLaren team, and I'll just finish wherever I finish. I've gone wide on the exit of turn 2. Hamilton is up to 3rd, but Bottas is fighting him. They've actually started on the soft compound tyre, whereas myself and Alonso on the super soft. So Mercedes there able to flex their strategy muscles a little bit. There's a yellow flag actually off the back of that. We're going to go down to standard mix, and it appears that one of the cars is stuck just after the fast left-hander as we now come to the end of lap 2. Alonso has scampered off into the distance. He's doing a 20.9 at the end of lap 2. I'm doing a 21.7, so we are 8 tenths of a second slower than Alonso and nearly 4 seconds back from him. Bottas within half a second there, followed by one of the Ferraris. So here's what happened on lap 1. You see Hamilton down the inside of Bottas, who then gets stuck behind myself. I run wide, hampering Hamilton's momentum. Coming up to the fast left-hander of turn 5, you just see Hamilton lunging against Bottas. They tap tyres, and Hamilton just ever so slightly got unsettled and sort of just went to the scene of the accident. He's knocked off a part of his front wing, so his car wasn't that damaged, but he has had to drop to the back of the field and make a pit stop to repair the damage. So that's definitely converted Hamilton onto a 2-stop there. But now, end of lap 5, as we go on towards lap 6, we cross the start-finish line, and Alonso has a 7.5 second lead on us now as our tyres start to wear out. We are in the 122s, but we're doing exactly what I said. We're holding the pack up as we go to a 22.3. Alonso now leads me by 8.2 seconds. Bottas has had a really good run on us out the final corner going into turn 1, but we're going to force him to go the long way round, and Bottas isn't able to cut underneath us there, so not able to pass us on any kind of traction and not able to fly through. But he must have turned up his engine, as now the fin is flying, and we're once again at the start of lap 8, just going to move to the inside, make him go the long way round, and this time we're actually going to brake late and force him out wide. That actually allows Raikkonen to cut underneath. So Kimi Raikkonen now up into second place, and I don't want him chasing down Fernandos, so I lunge down the inside of turn 2, push Kimi out wide there on the rich mixture, and that actually allows Verstappen, who's also on the super soft tyres, to get up there into P3. Bottas there appears to have dropped down to around P5 after I've pushed him wide there in turn 1. So yeah, shuffle up at the top of the field just here, but Alonso running away with the Grand Prix at the moment. I'm hoping he can pull home a magnificent victory for McLaren. But here, beginning of lap 10, we've got a big old train of cars there. Bottas, Raikkonen and Verstappen all trying to get through. I've pinched myself quite tight on the entry to turn 1. Verstappen's got through. We've steered out wide. Can anyone cut underneath me? No, they can't. Bottas and Raikkonen go side by side with Bottas getting the advantage as we head down towards turn 2. What's going to happen there with the cars behind us? You see Bottas in the mirror. Can he go around the outside of Max Verstappen? He's going to set himself up nicely for the inside of the next corner, but Verstappen holds it. But Bottas and Verstappen now side by side as we head up to the fast left-hander of turn 5. We flick it in there. Bottas is up to 3rd. Yellow flags, cars in the wall, safety car. What has happened between those two cars there as we've gone up to turn 5? Let's take a look. Verstappen was on the inside, similar to Hamilton on lap 1, and it's Verstappen in the wall, only his car has rotated more, and he's got front wing and a detached left front. Let's look at it from on board Max's car. So this time his right front collects Bottas's right rear. So Bottas there involved in 2 incidents on the in that particular corner. So we're coming into the pits now. We were due to come in on lap 13, but I'm coming in lap 10 under the safety car on the basis there that we might as well do it now under the safety car. It protects our position, keeps track position, and obviously we're not going to be wearing our tyres for 3 extra laps. So we have been held a little bit, a small delay there on the pit stop, 3.9, but that's because Alonso also pit the same lap. So Alonso has made his pit stop and he's back out in front there. So Alonso ahead of me on circuit, down to 3rd actually, so that's a little bit bizarre, and he's out of the Grand Prix. Fernando Alonso is retired under the safety car when he was leading the race by a country mile. What's happened with Alonso? He's pulled off the track there at turn 2. I can only assume that to be engine failure. Man, that is so frustrating. Because I know I haven't got the pace around this track, and I needed Alonso, for the sake of the constructors, to be taking points away from the other teams, and for me and the drivers taking points away from Valtteri Bottas, who is of course my #1 rival in the championship here. So I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. So now Alonso is out. We've got to try and do the job on the medium tyres. Bearing in mind all the cars around me have to make their pit stop. So Bottas and Raikkonen do have to pit, and they will be doing that sooner rather than later. So realistically, that should mean that they're not going to build the 25 seconds that they need to make a pit stop. Hopefully at least. Because we are on fresh mediums. They are on warm soft compound tyres. Even though we've seen that my pace around this circuit has not exactly been electric, and you see Ricciardo getting an excellent run out of turn 1, keeping me very honest up towards turn 2, but not able to get through. And all I want to do here is just stay as close to Bottas and Raikkonen as I can. You do see them getting away, but they haven't pulled away too much, thankfully. By the end of lap 14, they haven't disappeared down the road. We're still in touch with them. But Vettel lunges his Ferrari down the inside of the final corner. I kind of left the door open, and now I'm going to have to try and chase him down towards turn 1. So we've got as much slipstream as possible. Personal best lap of the Grand Prix. Vettel goes deep into turn 1. Can we try and hold it all the way around the outside? Yes, we can. Vettel goes wide on exit, and now that forces us to the outside of turn 2. Can we get past the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel again around the outside? We weren't able to do it through turn 1. Can we do it through 2? No, Vettel's able to get on the power sooner, squeeze us out, and then pinch us on the right-hander. We now go in the slipstream of Sebastian up towards turn 5. We get it tighter than him, bring it out wide. Can we make a move into 6? Vettel leaves the door open. We go wide a little bit, tap the Ferrari, push him wide. We're able to then down the inside, side by side, up towards the chicane. But we've got the inside, close the door on him, and he's not able to retain the position. So battling there for a solid half lap with Sebastian Vettel, showing that when going wheel to wheel, we do still have the pace to defend ourselves. So lap 16 anyway. Bottas pit the previous lap. Kimi Raikkonen now in at the end of lap 16 as we start lap 17. We're going to well, take the lead, actually, not regain the lead. We're going to take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Ricciardo is on our outside going into turn 1, but Daniel Ricciardo is on the super soft tyre, same as Sebastian Vettel. That means to me that they those two drivers in particular are going to be making an additional pit stop this afternoon, where we are going to the end on this set of mediums. So our tyres are going to be very worn and very slow at the end of the race. So that's why, even though these guys have to make another pit stop, I can't afford to let them through and build a lead on me, because if they are able to get a big enough gap, they will be coming out ahead of me after their pit stops. What I ideally want to do is just keep them behind me, and then when they come out of their pit stop, they will have to then catch me back up. So anyway, we're now into the lap 20s. Ricciardo is back on our outside. Vettel's dropped down behind Sergio Perez, who moves up into P3. Valtteri Bottas setting the pace there on a 1:19.9. So he, I believe, is on a set of mediums going to the end of the Grand Prix. Could be wrong, but that's what I think is going on. Anyway, lap 22, beginning of lap 23. Sergio Perez and Nico Hülkenberg are now up behind me. They've made one pit stop already in this race, and they're on the soft compound tyre. And I figured, for my own sake, I didn't defend the inside line here going into the first corner, on the basis Perez is faster than me. If I release him, he will be able to set faster lap times, in theory, than the top runners. He might be able to get himself ahead of them, because they may have an additional pit stop left to make in this Grand Prix. That's what I thought in the heat of the moment. I recorded this race a while ago, so I can't tell you exactly what I was thinking. All I can tell you is Danny Kvyat has just retired, and we are now under safety car conditions. So if anyone has a pit stop left to make in this Grand Prix, they should probably make it now. I did debate. I switched my tyres to super softs in the bottom right there. I did toy with the idea of diving into the pits, but with how long that would take, even though the cars are driving to a delta, I'm still fairly confident I would have come out behind Bottas, Vettel, Ricciardo, Raikkonen, and even though I'd be on fresher tyres, I don't personally think I would have the pace to overtake them. So sticking it out on the mediums, we've now built back up to how much fuel I had at the start of the race. We're 2.7 laps over, but that's going to allow me to run basically flat out almost for the rest of the Grand Prix. So we're going to drop it into Rich off the restart onto lap 27, and it's Felipe Massa for Williams up in second place on the soft tyres. Vettel there in third in the Ferrari. He's going to be the one challenging me to the flag. I expect him to get past Felipe very quickly indeed, but for now we're able to build a bit of a gap. Now onto lap 28, Vettel there is second, DRS enabled, and Vettel is thinking about a move down the inside. We're going to move across Hamilton, who was last at the end of the first lap, now battling for second place and potentially the win here in Hungary. But Perez is also up with us on the super soft tyres, because he pit under safety car conditions. So now the Force India man could potentially be in with a shout of a podium finish here. But we move on now. Lap 30. My tyres have been on the car for 20 laps now, and they are starting to feel very second hand, even with two safety cars. Vettel's trying around the outside of the final corner. He's got the grip, but we've run him out wide. That's not going to allow him the best run there. As we now charge towards turn 1, we've got myself, Vettel, Perez, Hamilton. They're going to go 3 wide behind me into turn 1. We pull out to take the racing line. Please don't let there be any contact. Hamilton and Vettel won't go wheel to wheel. None of them have ploughed into me though. Perez has been pushed wide. Hamilton's up to second place as we head towards turn 2. Who's going to come out of turn 2 in second place and be challenging me on the next run down to turn 1? It looks like it's going to be Lewis Hamilton as we push him out wide, shut the door on him. Coming out of turn 3 up towards turn 5, or is it turn 4? I'm now debating what the corner is now. Forget I said anything. We're still in the lead, just. But we have got a train of cars now on lap 32 as we head towards the first chicane. Hamilton tries to duck into my slipstream. Vettel's on the outside. I'm braking early so I don't overshoot and allow them to duck underneath me. on traction. Hamilton is able to get back through, and he's now going to try and have a sniff round the outside of us towards turn 2. Can we be last at the late breakers? Even though our tyres are really warm, we push Hamilton out wide due to going deep. That allows Sebastian through, who then tries to take us round the outside of the following corner, but he's not able to do it, and we now have to once again defend from the faster cars. This is really... Turns 1 and 2 are the only real overtaking opportunities on the circuit for the AI. They won't really go aggressive anywhere else. So as long as we defend into there, we should be okay as we now switch to the inside for turn 2. That's how you could tell my tyres were wearing out. My traction through 1 was awful. They were able to hold it and fight me through turn 2. But now Vettel is dropping back. I believe him to have a little bit of damage there. Hamilton is back up in the fight here. We've actually dropped Sergio Perez, so it's going to be a 3-horse race to the flag as we come up to the final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Vettel is trying to go round the outside of the final corner one more time. Can he do it? No, we push him out wide again. That allows Hamilton through into my slipstream with DRS as we go into the final lap of the Grand Prix. We're nearly in the 23s again. The pace is so slow. Can Hamilton make a move on the final lap of the race? No, we cut him off at the pass. He's not able to get us through into turn 1. Can he get the drive and maybe make a move into turn 2? We look back. DRS is open, but the straight is just too short for Hamilton, and he doesn't make a last-minute lunge into turn 2, and that's going to allow us then for the final time round the final corner on a set of medium tyres. We were painfully slow, but it doesn't matter as we win in Hungary.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win. Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top 3 today.
So there you have it. We win the Hungarian Grand Prix on the one-stop strategy. Lewis Hamilton bringing it home second after 3 pit stops there to bring it home second, and Vettel rounds off the podium for Ferrari there. I think we were the only person to try the one-stop. I know Alonso would have been on it too, but he retired sort of earlier on in the Grand Prix. So there you have it. Bottas, we pull ahead of him. We now got 35 points to Bottas, 65 to Vettel. Lewis Hamilton now jumps to 5th in the championship. He has been having a torrid season there. So like I said earlier, Bottas is our #1 rival that we have to be contesting with for the rest of this season. Vettel with an outside chance and Kimi as well, but like I say, Bottas is the one we need to be watching there. Alonso, what he could have done there if he had got the win today is unfortunate for him, but Fernando will bounce back, hopefully. As we move over to the constructors' standings, McLaren hold our lead over Mercedes. It's now 9 points, with Ferrari still breathing down our neck on 16, and that's why I need Fernando to be getting these points, and if we'd won today, we would have got so many points for the team, but it's unfortunate, but he'll continue to score for us, I'm fairly confident. But guys, that has been the Hungarian Grand Prix of Season 3. I do hope you have enjoyed. It was a bit of a different race, sort of. It was more me defending for pretty much half a Grand Prix. And I've never been quick round here, honestly. And I know, for me personally, it wasn't exactly a fun one to race, but I do hope it has kind of translated in the video. And I know it's a bit late to point out as well, but literally during this recording session, I've discovered that I have a blocked nose. So my voice might not come across as normal, a little bit nasally, but, you know, is what it is. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and comment any feedback down below. And remember to subscribe and enable the notifications to never miss an update that comes to the channel. I shall see you all next time.